Hello, everyone, and welcome to Daily Grace with Pastor James. So glad you are joining me in this episode. Today, we are going to be asking a question. The question is, who is your shepherd? You see, we should all have a shepherd. No matter the stage where you are, the only person that does not have a shepherd is God. Even the pastors have a shepherd. So who is your shepherd? It is so critical that you have a shepherd, because the shepherd is the one that will lead you. And the psalmist tells us this in Psalm 23, 1-3. We all know this. We all recite this over and over again. He says, "The Lord is my shepherd. I lack nothing. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. He refreshes my soul." NIV version. Now, we want to just break down that Psalm 23, 1-3. Who is your shepherd? Especially in this day and age of fast-paced world, where people are led by their ambition, where people are led by anxiety, by popularity, by pressure from all corners. Who is your shepherd? But even in such pressures during David's time, David makes it a bold statement. He said, "The Lord is my shepherd." That was a personal statement, that was a present statement, and that was a powerful statement that David made in that place. But remember, he did not just say a shepherd. He said the shepherd, the one who knows you by name, the one who provides for you, the one who protects you, and the one who leads you is the one that we are talking about. So he said, "The Lord is my shepherd." That is telling us about an identity. He knows who he is. He knows where he's going. He knows who is Lord. And it also talks about intimacy, because it says, "my shepherd." David was once a shepherd boy, so he knows what it takes, what a shepherd does for the sheep. What he has said there simply tells us about his dependence on God, his trust and his relationship in the Lord that he serves. There's a story about a little boy who was asked to recite Psalm 23 in front of the class. And he said, "The Lord is my shepherd, and that is all I want." Yes, he might have said it the other way, but that's totally what we are talking about. If the Lord is your shepherd, you will not want any other thing. So the boy is right in the way he has done it. If God is not your shepherd, brethren, something or someone else will lead your life. It could be your emotion. It could be the social media. It could be your money. It could be fears, or it could be friends. Let the Lord be your shepherd. And the second thing he told us there, he said, "I lack nothing." He's talking about the provision of the shepherd, the provision of God. You see, when you look at sheep cannot feed or defend or even navigate on their own. They can't do it themselves. They depend entirely on the shepherd to do that for them. And when the Lord leads, He truly leads you, and you will never go astray. You will never go astray. Remember Elijah in 1 Kings 17, even in famine. Elijah was fed by raven. Elijah was fed by a widow. That is the provision of God that we are talking about. Why not declare this after me? I lack nothing. Not peace, not direction, not protection, because the shepherd never sleeps. Another thing David said in that verse that we took, he says, "He makes me lie down in green pastures." That is the rest that the shepherd will give to you. Sheep only lie down when they are fed, when they are safe, and when they are at peace. And what we're talking about here is not just your physical rest. We're talking about rest for your soul. We are in a culture where we are always burnt out because of the hustling and bustling of the day. But God then calls us to slow down and trust in His own provision. And trust in His own provision. The next thing that David told us there, he said, He leads me beside quiet waters. That is again the peace that the shepherd gives to you. When you look at sheep, they are afraid of rushing water. They are afraid of waves. So a good shepherd don't lead the sheep to rushing water. They lead the sheep to a calm water, a quiet water, because that is what they want. And that's where they drink safely. God doesn't push us. He leads us. He doesn't drag us. He guides us. That is the type of God that we serve. His paths always lead you and I to a peace. Even though we are in valley, it leads us to a peace. Somebody once asked his pastor, and the question is, he wasn't hearing from God. Why is he not hearing from God? And the pastor said, because you are listening in the storm. You need to listen to God in your quiet time. Remember 1 Kings 19, 11 to 13, Elijah. The storms were there, thunder, the fire, all those, the Lord did not speak. But the Lord spoke in the still, small voice. Sometimes peace is not found until we follow God into silence. Can you declare after me? God is not an author of confusion. No, He's not. He leads me into peace and not panic. The next thing that we can draw from that passage, it says, He refreshes my soul. That is the renewal. The shepherd renews you. Life wears us out. Of course, you can testify to this. Both spiritually, emotionally, and physically, we are always worn out and tired. But the Good Shepherd doesn't just feed our body, He fills our souls. He restores our soul. He revives our broken dreams. He heals our internal wounds. He renews our passion. And of course, He redirects our steps. What a wonderful God. Remember Peter that denied Christ 3 times. But Christ did not throw him away. Jesus restored him gently. Says, Peter, do you love me? The same Christ still restores failures in His sheep. May the Lord restore you. What part of your soul feels a dry season? What part of you is broken or forgotten? Invite the shepherd into your life today so that He can refresh you. Jesus said in John 10:11, I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd lays down his life for the sheep. The psalm is a promise. It's a promise not for perfect sheep, but for submitted sheep. When the Lord is your shepherd, you will lack nothing. You can rest fully and you'll be guided peacefully, and your soul will be restored. Thank you so much for listening to me in this episode. Once again, my name is Pastor James Egodibe, and I pastor RCCG Solid Rock Parish, Derby. In the city center, our address is the corner of Exchange Street, East Street, DE1 to DAU. If you are looking for a Bible believing church, we have wonderful brethren who will welcome you with an open arms, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.